ESPN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
It's a beautiful day out here at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club. We're happy to have you for the next 3 hours. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is how you get involved because we're live streamed today, provided that Robert didn't fry the computer. Everything good?
Everything is good. Boy, it couldn't be no better if you tried.
Is this your favorite thing that the station does?
I swear to God.
It's
I swear to
beautiful.
God.
I mean, what a perfect day for this.
Well, last year, I was about to say you'd remember, but you wasn't here. It's just me and Lucas. We had a
Oh, did I skip that
torrential.
too?
Yes, you did skip that last year. I believe you was in South America somewhere. There was a torrential downpour. The putting green in front of us looked like a pond.
Yeah.
It was just so wet. They was blowing tents over everywhere. We got the exact opposite this year. You said this is my favorite event every year. You would be right on the money, man. Because anytime you're going to let a rube like me drive anything, the fact that I just pulled up in here and I said, can I get a golf cart? And they gave me one, and they just let me run roughshod over this course, doing whatever I please.
Are you sure that they know that you're doing all of these things? I feel like you should probably keep things a little closer to the vest.
No, I'm just running around asking people. No, and I'll tell you this. I told Lucas this story already. I saw some golfers on 11, and they said, hey, where's the bar at? And I was letting them know it's on 6. Well, you on the back 9, so you wasn't going to see it. They said, well, we ain't got nothing to drink. I said, hold on a second. I got y'all. I drove back to 2. I picked them up 8 beers. That's 2 a person. I dropped them back off, and they were so thankful. They tried to tip me. I said, no, I work here, dude. It ain't my thing.
I am stunned that you did not take
No,
that.
he's a man of honor.
I say,
Stunned.
I work here. It's my pleasure. I'm just happy to be here. Anytime they going to let me drive a golf cart, smoke a cigarette, drink a little drink,
Amen.
drum around. It's a beautiful day. I done seen a deer today. I seen a turkey today. I seen all kind of wildlife. It couldn't be no better if I was you, Buck.
I think that there is no better advertisement for the annual Zone Golf Classic than the one that Robert Walsh just gave. I don't know that I've ever done a live read that good in my life. Well done.
I appreciate it. No, I'm just tickled to be out here. I mean, usually when it feels this good, we're inside the studio and we're cramped up. Me and Lucas's belly is hangering for something. But today,
Who's feeding us today,
we
by the
ain't
way?
got to hanger for
Who's
nothing.
feeding us, Lucas?
That's what I'm setting
Tell the
up for.
people. Tell the people who make this wonderful thing possible.
I mean, Uncle Bud's is always out here. Nash Dogs is here. They provided us lunch last week.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, it was
I
exceptional.
saw on both of your social media feeds. Looked very
Fat
sensual.
ass hot
Yep.
dogs.
Very
Pig and
sensual.
Pie Catering is here. Nah, man. Robert's right. I don't think you could draw up a better situation weather-wise for the Zone Golf Classic this year.
It was a busy sports weekend.
It was an insane sports weekend.
Not only an insane sports weekend, the best sports weekend for the USA since when?
Oh, man.
Well, probably since they beat Canada.
I mean, Justin Gaethje winning the lightweight heavyweight championship at the UFC fight. You had the Hurricanes winning it for Canada. You had USA scoring 4 goals. Come on, man. Lucas got me into the World Cup. We was at the bar, and I don't think I've been at a more exciting sports event without actually being there in my entire life.
That is really what the World Cup does. And again, you have to wait until you get in it, I feel like, for most people to really experience it rather than have Lucas force feed you a countdown. No, I'm kidding. He's been very judicious about the way that he tries to get people very cautious, very careful, very sensitive to people's feelings about the situation for the World Cup. Is a dominant performance by the U.S. I know you were hosting a watch party at Geodis. We were supposed to go, and then Robert told me not to go. You want to defend yourself?
I didn't tell you to go.
I was going to support our friend. You told me not to.
I was peer pressured into the fact that it was a family-friendly event, and I was worried that I'd be hollering, "Kill him!" And I didn't want to.
Maybe it's for the best.
I didn't just want to disturb nobody. But Lucas joined us after the fact for the festivities. But that was my first foray into USA soccer. And I heard from you and other people that was the best USA has ever looked in the World Cup. And I think I'm spoiled because now I expect them to look like that all the time, but they don't always look like that.
Yeah, no, that was you talk about best case scenario. It was better than best case scenario. I met up with them after the fact. Watch party was awesome, by the way. There were like 5,000 people out there at Geodis. The energy was just incredible. The vibes were amazing. There will be another one in Centennial Park on Friday. So hope people will come out for that. But I met Robert afterwards Friday night, and he was like, okay, I'm in. Tell me everything. And started asking me about every team in this tournament and diving into the nuances of soccer and strategy and what you look for in different positions. Oh, it had me with a big old smile plastered on my face. But yes, it was as good as it gets, and now they have to sustain it. Now they have to make sure that the narrative is not they hit the ground running and then petered out, but not just in the result, but in the way that they did it, and the way they were expressing themselves going forward, the dribbling ability, the flair, the organization, the finishing ability, just picking apart a Paraguay team that is by no means a contender in this tournament, but is a solid team that's tough to break down and was pretty good during qualifying out of South America. So vibes sky high for the U.S. on Friday.
We'll talk more about the U.S. National team and their chances now that they've won. It is so dominant, that performance against Paraguay, how much that helps them to advance out of their group as we continue to talk about the World Cup and the U.S. men's national team chances. You have the opportunity to vote on the polls at Buck Rising is where you vote on the polls, and I'm curious to know whether people's opinions were changed, like Robert's, just from level of expectation, because we'll get into that in the next segment. There was too much sports stuff that happened this weekend, and I hate that it's kind of all done, right? Like World Cup continues, but like the NBA Finals, the World Cup at the same time. You've got the Stanley Cup, and both of those things, 2 out of 3 concluded this weekend. Congratulations to your Carolina Hurricanes,
Woo!
Robert. Sound the siren, Kroll.
That's my dog. Let him know, Kroll.
Yes.
Yeah! It ain't Florida no more. It's Carolina, baby. That's where the cup goes. Rod Brindamore, his body is dripping over the cup. That's what I'm talking about.
Dripping over the cup is crazy.
Did you see his body?
Brindamore? Yes.
They ripped his shirt off, and he looked like they gave him Captain America syndrome. He looked like he had 0.2% body fat.
Sneaky jacked.
It's not fair.
Maybe not even sneaky jacked.
No,
he's just straight up jacked.
He's fully jacked. If you see that guy on the beach, you're like, hey, could you go back to the house and give me some sunscreen? You ask your wife anything, just don't look at this dude. But I told Lucas on the way over here, surefire Hall of Famer. He won the Cup in 2006 as a player captain. He won the Cup this year, 20 years later, as a coach. He's the only player in NHL history to do that. The Hurricanes missed the Cup, missed the playoffs, missed the whole shebang for 8 weeks or 8 years. Then he gets to be the coach, and they make it 9 years straight. It doesn't get much better than that for Rod Brindamore.
So the only thing that we have to do to get Robert to give hockey takes is to give him a vodka transfusion.
No, no, that ain't true now. That ain't true. I'm just enjoying the libations.
No, it's awesome. 3-0 over Vegas last night. I had some family in attendance. My uncle's a weatherman in Vegas. He was there supporting the Knights.
Stop it.
Vegas gets up for that hockey team. Obviously, they've had success since they came into the NHL as an expansion. But really never in doubt for like the final, I don't know, would you say like the final 5 periods of that series in total? You just felt like, all right, it's Carolina's to lose.
And the Canes had every opportunity to just fold and wither and wilt away. But and since that overtime game where they were down, what was it, 4-1?
4-0.
They were down 4-0, fight back, go to overtime, lose anyway. The gut shot that is, where you would think most teams, hey, they'd wither away. They fight back, they don't lose another game in the tournament, and they end up hoisting the cup.
Brandon Bussey, the story of the Stanley Cup Finals. Awesome. He gets in there, shuts out the Golden Knights in a series that started off absolutely electrically, and then it slows down, and to your point, Carolina just shows they are the superior team. They've been the best team of this NHL postseason, and at the end of the NBA and NHL postseasons, the best teams came out on top, and neither series went 7 games, but both felt like the drama was just constant from start to finish. We'll talk about the Knicks, but that's a 5-game series. that's got to be the most legendary 5-game series in NBA Finals history for it to finish 4-1, but every game be as competitive as it was, and the drama of the Knicks being the comeback kids and completing that run. Yeah, what a weekend.
Yeah, buddy, just wait till the ratings come out on that. We are out here at the Nashville Golf and Athletic Club today for the Zone Golf Classic presented by Ferguson. Special thanks to Ferguson, of course, as the presenting sponsor, and Boswell Golf Carts, I assume, which is what Robert is riding around in, a Boswell golf cart today.
I'm riding around in a Boswell golf cart. I also believe that if you make a hole-in-one on hole 5, you have the opportunity to win a Boswell golf cart.
Actually?
Yes.
Okay.
It is impressive every year. I beg the teams that are going through, hey, let me drive. Give me a chance. Come on. Because there is no place I feel more at home than a golf cart. You knock that bug shield down, the wind hits you in the face. It doesn't get any better than that right there.
It's outstanding. 615-737-1045. The number, as I mentioned, we're live streamed on Zone TV as well. We're sitting up here on the patio of the clubhouse at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club. Just, I don't know, it took me about maybe 25 minutes to get here from North Nashville, Germantown area. So not a bad ride at all. If you ever get the opportunity to play this course, it is stunning, and we're very happy to be out here today. So you mentioned the Knicks. We might as well go long here because it was a hell of a sports weekend, and we got a million things to talk about throughout the course of the show today. The Knicks get it done in San Antonio, and the representation of Knicks fans in the building, we were talking about this on Saturday on the Fox show before the game, the idea that, like, should San Antonio fans be selling their tickets in droves the way that they apparently seem to be? And I had a really hard time dinging Spurs fans for that. When you understand, all right, your percentage chance, maybe they win to keep the series alive at home, but in all likelihood, the Knicks should just be able to step on them and call this a series. Let it be done. And that's exactly what Jalen Brunson did. He was on a night where Cat was pretty quiet. OG Anunoby really didn't do much as far as scoring goes. They just needed Brunson to go superhero, and that was his best performance of the finals, a well-deserved MVP.
Oh, it was just fitting, wasn't it, that he scored half their points. 45 points in a 94-point team performance. Just fitting that he did the thing that he hasn't quite always done. It's not like the Knicks have gotten to this point in the postseason by Jalen Brunson just carrying the team on his back, right? He's a facilitator. He's one of the most clutch players in the NBA. And, yes, he pops off when he needs to, and he had 36 in that comeback performance. But to hang 45 in a game or a series-clinching game on the road, lock him in, man. Jalen Brunson built a statue outside of Madison Square Garden.
Well, and I think that there's going to be some recency bias here.
Oh, yeah.
As far as his level and status in Knicks lore, right? Because a lot of people are not going to remember Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed that way, but they do have 2 championships for that New York franchise, even though it is 50-plus years ago. So not to wag a finger at people who are very excited about Jalen Brunson. Obviously, the history for his family with the Knicks franchise, and, I mean, just spectacular. So you don't want to take away from that. Let's hear from Jalen Brunson. In fact, Kroll, if we could, who's back there making it happen in the studio today, post-game.
We can talk about it now. You're a champion. What is this moment feeling like to you? Take your time. Wait a long time for this.
I got no words. Everything I ever dreamed of.
That blank space in the middle of the audio was cursing for those of you who were concerned that we may have just dropped off the surface of the sun. No, just somebody dropping numerous expletives in the background.
During the post-game interview?
Jalen?
During the post, no.
Someone else.
Just in the background. ABC playing it safe, understandably so.
Dude, I was at an establishment watching that game, and I was stunned to walk in and see how packed it was with New York fans. And the place was deafening when the game went final. Deafening in Nashville, and the bar started playing New York, over the speaker.
Scenes in New York.
insane. Absolutely insane. When's the last time you saw a celebration like that for an NBA championship? I don't think I ever have. I don't think I've ever seen a city respond like that for an NBA title.
I think the people would have gotten up for the Lakers if it wasn't the bubble. In recent...
Yeah, but like partying in the streets like that in L.A., like, yeah, they would have been, but I don't know that it would have had the same...
Philly Super Bowl is probably...
Yeah, Philly Super Bowl. That's the closest thing,
Philly
for sure.
Super Bowl
Eagles finally getting that ring.
Where I would put the first Super Bowl, the Nick Foles, especially because who they beat and how they beat the Patriots and the level. But, I mean, again, right on even ground. That was an insane thing. I hope everybody had a safe experience through that because there were some, as is going to be the case with any celebration, especially where people are drinking. People get a little carried away, but honestly, I saw some of the crime stats come out of that. Not bad, New York. Well done.
What was it, like 63?
It's like 63 arrests.
Those are good numbers.
I thought that was pretty.
Yeah.
Brother, that's like a Saturday night on Broadway.
Have y'all seen
Our
the videos?
Broadway, not theirs.
They seem pretty passive. They were literally lighting the bus on fire, and the people.
Well, no, but strategically, Mondami put the buses out there for the New York fans to descend upon, so that they could.
I don't know. I think
he took an insurance policy out on those buses. He was like, "Y'all burn them.
Yeah.
Who cares? Nobody."
Let it ride. Let it ride. Yes.
From 1974,
Yes,
they don't even have seatbelts.
I think
Joke's
New York,
on you.
New York police were too busy partying with Brazil and Morocco fans. Like, have y'all seen those videos coming out?
Can you imagine being from another country and then being in New York when the Knicks won?
Hey, what's going on?
Is New York like this? Is why they need Batman.
Why are they so happy for us?
Man, they must really.
That was marked as the game of the first weekend, right? Brazil and Morocco at MetLife. It ended up in a draw, which will, of course, have implications for both of them as they work their way through that group. But, yeah, the scenes out of New York pregame, even though in Times Square, obviously the game in East Rutherford, New Jersey, it was just a spectacular sports weekend in this country all around. They also had the UFC fight on the White House lawn. That was a spectacle, for sure. And I have various thoughts that we will get to at the end of the show. I'm sure Robert will agree with me on some and disagree with me on some, so you can stick around for that. 615-737-1045, the number. But just a jam-packed sports weekend for us to work our way through throughout the course of the show. Titans will be back on the practice field tomorrow. It's the final week of off-season for everybody. Final week of off-season for the Titans, final week of the off-season for NFL clubs before we go on a 6-week hiatus. So we'll talk a little bit about that throughout the course of the day. Robert and Lucas will do the majority of that tomorrow and on Wednesday while I'm out at practice. Yes, joke's on you. We'll get into more of the U.S. men's national team, their great success on Friday night. Coming up next, we are live at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club for the Zone Golf Classic, made possible by wonderful people like Uncle Bud's and Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you throughout the course of the aging process, because if you're feeling tired, just kind of run down, or not like you used to, those things are natural. It's part of the aging process. Your body starts to change, but they don't have to be inevitable. And the Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you. By the way, their Murfreesboro location officially open as of this week. 4 locations here in Middle Tennessee serving you: downtown, Franklin, Clarksville, and the borough. So congratulations on the Tennessee Men's Clinic for their success, and their success in helping so many guys get the treatment they need, whether it's testosterone treatments, treatments for ED, even peptides like NAD+. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you through that process and give you individualized treatment, not cookie cutter like most places or online pills. Visit them online today and book your appointment with ease at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. 615-737-1045, the number if you want to jump in. You are welcome to do so. So the U.S. men's national team, they whip ass on Friday night. They beat Paraguay down, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Paraguay potentially expected to give them a little bit of trouble?
Yeah, Paraguay is a solid team. This is a solid group. If you average out the FIFA World Rankings, for what that's worth, of the 4 teams in this group, it's the second highest average ranking in the tournament, only half a point back of what's been dubbed as the quote-unquote group of death with France, Senegal, and Norway. So, yeah, the floor is high for all of the teams in this group, and I really thought the U.S. was going to have more difficulty breaking down Paraguay than they did.
Well, it doesn't hurt when Paraguay hurts themselves with an own goal to get things started.
Yeah, but you created that, right? Like the United States created that by their entry into the box, by putting a ball in a dangerous area, and that did bring back the 1994 vibes, because that's exactly how the U.S. got off the mark in the 94 World Cup against, at that point, one of the tournament favorites in Colombia.
But I also feel like it was aided by how seamless they were in rotations, where in the wide areas like Dest and Robinson were overlanking in the flats, where I thought they really stretched Paraguay thin in a way that really opened up the midfield for Weston McKennie, Malik Tillman, obviously Christian Pulisic, to combine to create goal-scoring opportunities for them. Where the whole time it felt like they were living on Paraguay's side of the field.
Yeah, it's an astute observation by you. And then Fuller and Balogun, who the United States went through a long, arduous recruiting process for. The U.S. hasn't had a true goal-scoring center forward in years. He was born in Brooklyn, grew up in London to Nigerian parents. So he had the option to represent any of those 3 nations. He chose the United States. It's all been building to this moment. What'd you think of his performance?
And what more can you say about that, dude? Like, what more can you say? This has been the type of performance the USA has been looking for the center forward since Clint Dempsey, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've been trying to find a guy like this since Nam. And they did it. And it paid dividends in game 1.
That's right. 2 goals, a banger to make it 3-1 before halftime. Overall, Mauricio Pochettino deserves a lot of credit here, right? Because in the last year and a half, the vibes have kind of been all over the place. He's made some really questionable moves with this lineup. Nobody's really known what his approach was going to be. But then when it mattered, that's what they did.
No, and they lived up to the moment, right? Putting Pochettino in for Gio Reyna in game when it was 3-1. You think they'd lay off? No, you know what? We're just going to sit back and be okay with our goals. But as we all know, Gio is not on the field for his defensive capabilities. Most of the coaches put a more defensive-minded midfielder in to see the game out, but put Pochettino in, put Gio Reyna in to try to create for another gear, and he was rewarded. Just a class finish from the outside of the foot.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
I told you, he's learned a lot.
A text from Lucas Panzica to Robert Walsh.
What are you talking about?
Here's your soccer analysis.
No, what do you mean? No, come on.
Now,
I knew who Gio Reyna was.
Oh, God forbid.
Is Pochettino a coach or a player?
He's a coach. He's obviously the coach, but they think he may move on. There may be a seat open for the U.S. national coach, and that's the problem with the success. It's the tale of two swords, right? Tale of two cities, where you could fall on the soft side, you could fall on the sword side, where potentially if they do so well, Pochettino is going to get poached. He's going to be Pochettino. And they're going to have to find another coach for this national team. That's what me and Lucas were talking about all weekend, is who could they look to fill that space. But right now, USA's got to live in the moment.
Yeah.
They've got to be happy, and especially happy because their opponent on the other side, who was going to be the more difficult opponent to approach, Turkey, fell to Australia 2-0.
Yes, that was quite the upset for the team that was supposed to provide the biggest challenge. It's just impossible that Robert learned something to you, I guess. This is how little you think of this man's intellectual capabilities.
You don't think I could learn how to play kickball in a weekend?
I think it's more, hey, buddy, I want you to participate in the soccer conversation. Here's some pointers.
You don't have to do that. He doesn't have to do that because I bent Lucas's ear.
Why did he?
He texted me that, but what happened was I had texted him notes from before the game.
Pull that audio just to make sure that I am on the record.
And pull the whole thing. And pull the whole thing because I had asked Lucas, hey, I took some notes on this game, and I want to make sure that you think at what I'm seeing, because I am a novice eye. I don't want to look this through a jaundiced eye.
Did you just burp?
Oh, come on.
I'll rip one.
Dump that.
I'll
Dump
rip one
that.
for you right now.
Dump it. What do you mean?
I am a novice eye, as we all know. So I texted Lucas some ideas to say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Is what I'm seeing accurate? I mean, the same thing you would do at Titans practice.
That's right.
When you ask Ramon or someone who has played the game that understands.
Sure.
Leukes obviously played the game at a very high level.
well,
He's a champion.
That's right, I am. Yeah.
And
Beer League E.
Thank you for mentioning that.
So we're learning. I'm learning about how, just like in football, and this is what made the transition easy for me. Just like in football, you want to stretch not only vertically but horizontally, because the defense is trying to make a plan for you. So if you can open yourself up either vertically or horizontally, and then also allow the players passing elements to really shine, that's what's going to open you up for scoring opportunities late in game.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
That time you and me were at L.A. Jackson.
Uh-huh.
And we were on the roof with my buddy Bobby.
I'm about to spit my water.
Probably a good thing.
Definitely water.
My buddy Bobby, who's
Yeah,
a
and-
former collegiate offensive lineman, and you were
played
giving
O-line.
him pass rush technique advice.
He might have forgot. He might have not remembered, when people come and it's a TA stunt and the tackle's going to go the opposite side and they're really trying to create an interior rush opportunity for somebody inside. He may not have remembered that you have to pass off and move and stick.
You know what
And
I
it's about the
remembered?
outside arm. It's about the outside arm hitting that armpit so you can really create an anchor so your offense isn't getting poured over on the inside.
You know what I remembered?
What's that?
To send you to the shadows. Take your ass out of here.
Big on the FNM Bank chat says listening to Bert talk soccer reminds him of Will Ferrell in Old School, and he blacks out during the debate segment.
Somebody says I'll take Robert over Alexi Lawless 10 out of 10 times.
Great.
Alexi Lawless, not the darling of the World Cup coverage, from what I could tell, just because, I mean...
He's up there with a couple of legends of the game, and I think it's clear that they don't. There's kind of this vibe that, like, yeah, okay, bud. Like, you didn't quite.
We don't really respect you.
Yeah,
But you're one of them, so we'll keep you.
Didn't quite achieve the things that the other two people on that desk achieved. Not even close, but.
I love him because he seems completely blissfully ignorant.
He's confident. Absolutely.
I love Alexi Lawless.
But to Robert's point about Gio Reyna, we talked about the drama around Gio Reyna in 2022.
To Robert's point.
And we don't need to rehash that. Look it up. It's one of the most embarrassing, quote-unquote, scandals and situations in U.S. soccer history. And John Strong said it on the broadcast when Reyna was being subbed in. Here's his chance to replace the first thing that everybody thinks of when they think of Gio Reyna and U.S. soccer, and that's exactly what he did. And it was the last kick of the game to make it 4-1.
Yeah.
So can they sustain? And the question now is about Christian Pulisic, and is he at 100% health?
I mean, how surprised were you?
I was very surprised that they looked that good. Again, I thought they were going to win the game. They're a better team. They have more quality. They have more attacking talent. There was a reason why Paraguay was going to have the approach of sitting deep and trying to counter. But
That was an ass whipping.
And they were in every facet of the game. They were so good. The freedom that they played with. They're trying things, the flair they played with. Man, just an expression of talent that we have not seen with this version of the U.S., which is, on paper, the most talented version of the U.S. men's national team. And Christian Pulisic, it's one of the best performances of his U.S. career, and he was on the field for 45 minutes.
The New York Times and The Athletic obviously documenting this, and they have playoff prediction, or I guess World Cup prediction advancement percentage chances here, projections here. They give the U.S. men's national team a 97% chance of advancing to the knockout stage with the 4-1 win, with a 59% chance of winning its group. So, if the U.S. men's national team does all of that, what is the next steps? Where do we go? I'll ask you like I do Danlos. Where are we now?
Yeah.
We've done that. Where do we go from here?
Well, at first, I feel like I have to greet everybody that, watched that game Friday, had no idea they would be in on this thing, and now we're all in. Hello, welcome. The water's warm. Please join us.
All right, calm down.
This happens.
Just give them their soccer analysis. You're not some Walmart greeter for
Please,
soccer.
no,
Okay?
Take a seat right here. Just the Spark Notes version of it.
Yeah.
The World Cup expanded this year from 32 to 48 teams. Nobody asked for it. It's a la March Madness, right? Got to feed the cash cow. So that's where we're at. Expanded to 48 teams. That means there's 12 groups of 4. Typically, in the past, the top 2 teams in each group advance. You play the other 3 teams in your group one time, 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a loss. Goal differential is the first tiebreaker, and the top 2 teams advance. Because it is 48 teams in this World Cup, the top 2 teams in each group advance to the knockout round, but the 8 best third-place teams also advance. So, 48 teams start. Only 16 teams get eliminated from the group stage. So if you collect 3 points in your first game, and especially doing it by winning by 3 goals like the U.S. did, you're almost guaranteed to move on. So moving on to the knockout rounds was never the bar for the U.S. The bar is higher than that in this World Cup. But that is going to happen. The question is, can they continue this pace to win the group? Because the U.S.'s group, the winner of the U.S.'s group, will be matched up with one of the third-place teams that comes out. So you could get a favorable matchup if you do close out this thing, which it was good to see Turkey lose against Australia and underperform because you thought they would have been your biggest competitor.
615-737-1045, the number. Does Friday's dominant U.S. men's national team performance change your opinion on how far they can advance in the World Cup? We put it to a poll so far. 60% of the audience says yes. I think, people either didn't have an expectation, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, didn't have an expectation of them or thought they were going to do poorly. And, not having a level of soccer insight and just kind of going into it blindly the way that I feel like most people do. Obviously, there's a percentage of soccer fans in this country that follow that will have an awareness of how good or how capable this particular national team is. But for the rest of us, we're just kind of like, all right, vibes. Let's see how it goes. And for that to be the first impression, huge.
Yeah. Had to have that.
Huge for people to really get. I mean, people were behind this thing. The watch party that you were hosting, and I'm sure you did a wonderful job. Somebody sent me a very awkward video, though, of you leading a USA chant, which I found delightful.
I need that video.
I will send you the video.
Yes, we need the audio.
I have the audio.
Oh.
I always have eyes out there. Anytime Lucas does something, I always get pictures.
I know it was Z-Tubs. Yeah, please. You knew one person in that crowd. It happened to be our guy Z-Tubs.
That's fine.
This is your corn dog gate. Like they caught me. They caught me at what concert was that?
That was Creed.
We were at Creed, and I was eating a corn dog about in 2 bites, and somebody took a picture of it. It was 2.
It was an anaconda, was what it
was.
was.
It was 2.
Okay.
And this is your corn dog gate. Somebody caught you in a USA chant. I bet there's not a video of you doing a Brazil chant or an Italy chant. But before we get out of here,
oh God.
I did want to ask Lucas about one of the more niche corners of the World Cup. How did you feel about Curacao? Getting obviously, if you're just score watching, you're going to say, "Oh yeah, Germany beat the snot out of them."
7-1.
Yeah, it's 7-1, but that was expected.
Yes.
Curacao, it's one of their first appearances in the World Cup.
Their first appearance. They're the smallest nation to ever qualify for the World Cup.
But in that 7 loss, they still scored their first goal. And you learned at the World Cup why it means so much for these teams to go, because despite the huge deficit that they lost by, that one goal means more to them than the entire match does.
Yeah.
That Curacao has now scored a goal in the World Cup. Why does that mean so much to them?
It's something that Kirby, they don't have anything else. They live in a beautiful Caribbean island.
I thought Curacao was a liquor. I thought it was a mixer.
It is. No.
I thought it was a mixer.
Some things don't seem possible, right? And if you're a young player that's either from Curacao or you have that national tie, you never even begin to fathom playing at a FIFA World Cup to represent your country. So that is a positive of the World Cup expanding to 48 teams. We're going to see it kicking off in 20 minutes. Spain plays Cabo Verde, which is a tiny little country off the coast of West Africa that was a Portuguese colony until 1970. And they're playing the favorites. They're playing the defending European champions in Spain. There will be blowouts like that, but there will also be cool moments like that make history. And maybe it leaves the door cracked for something shocking to happen too.
And you got to think that Lavano Comencia, the guy that scored the goal for Curacao, is just going to go back there, and he's never going to have to pay for a Curacao shot in his life. They're going to be like, oh, there's Lavano. Pour him up. Let him get one. That's what I love about the World Cup. It's been fun. And once again, if you missed it on Friday, I was wrong. The World Cup is so sick. I hate it. I bought FIFA this weekend just so I can learn
You bought the video game?
I want to learn so I can learn the game and learn all the teams.
That's
I hate
awesome.
it. No, that's how I learned football.
I love it.
With Madden. So that's how I'll do it with
I was at East Nashville Beer Works last night. There was a watch party for the Japanese national team.
Oh, it looks
A
stacked.
ton of Japanese fans, like local Japanese families that live in Nashville. Oh, it was such a good time. Such a good time.
We will touch briefly on the Titans. They're back on the practice field tomorrow. We'll talk about expectations for mandatory minicamp coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, 615-737-1045. The number if you want to jump in. We are out here at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club, Lucas, for the Zone Golf Tournament made possible by Ferguson and many other wonderful sponsors, including the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency and Brentwood Hearing Center. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Will Bowling.
Yes.
Congratulations to Will Bowling. So I got married over the weekend. Looked like a wonderful time. So congratulations to him and his lovely new bride, Peyton.
Yes, honeymooning this week, I believe. If I got married and honeymooned during the World Cup, Megan would want to kill me because I would be absent, let's say. Not focused.
So you would, if for whatever reason, and I don't think this would ever happen, especially with as much runway as you've got to plan your engagement.
We're less than a year out.
Okay. I'm good. I'm put it on my calendar, bud. Thanks. There's no way that you would do it. But if it were somehow, some way, your honeymoon to fall on a World Cup, you would not put the World Cup aside for the love of your then wife.
Of course I would, but I'm just have it on my phone.
Okay.
Hey, baby, why don't we go to this bar? Is it because it has TV showing the games? No, it just looks cool. It's a cool vibe.
So, vibes at Titans OTAs. Been fine. It's June, as many people like to point out, so no great urgency other than for people who are just interested in learning more as much as they can about what's going on with Cam Ward and the progress of the football team and all these different things. So, mandatory minicamp kicks things up a notch. Obviously, it's the last phase of the offseason. It's tomorrow, and it's Wednesday. They technically have a day scheduled for Thursday, but I think they're going to do some kind of like team activity. It's not necessarily going to be a practice the way that things and teams often do. For all the whatever level of consternation you think to be real about Cam not looking good at practice, last couple of, call it a month, last month, okay? If it is something you're not worried about, then you're not necessarily worried about how he looks at mandatory minicamp. If you think, okay, it's a note for just to keep in the back of my mind how he performed throughout the course of this offseason, do I see a difference by the time we get to mandatory minicamp? I think it is pretty important for him to go out there and have at least one crisp day of the two for us to walk away into the next 6 weeks with something to talk about. And I know it's not just about what's talked about, but for him and for everybody involved to walk away from the next couple of days feeling like they've got a higher level of confidence, that they've accomplished something, that they're playing at a faster level, that the recognition is better, whatever bullet points you want to lay out for an off-season program. I need to see some progress this week.
Sure, but at the end of the day, me personally, I just care about what it looks like at training camp when you are most closely replicating those in-game situations.
They've got refs on the field the whole offseason. I mean, they are being, called for flags and penalties and things like that. Like, they are simulating. I know it's not real football, understanding that it's as close as you can get once the pads come on, but they are simulating game-like situations. They are simulating no huddle, red zone, all these different things. Like I said, I'd like to see it look a little crisper this week.
Yeah, of course. Everybody would prefer for Cam Ward to be completing passes and not throwing incompletions. I just have a hard time with it.
No, it's not even just necessarily about the completions. It's about the quality of play that we're seeing.
So
the overall experience.
So, help me, what is it? Because I feel like we keep hearing this, but we haven't gotten any details on what's actually taking place. Is it inaccuracy?
Yes.
What's the deal?
Yeah, so he has some footwork stuff that he's still working on as he's continuing to work on recognition and different language in the offense and different skill players out there with him. He's got some footwork stuff, and it's leading to some inaccuracies. That's basically the sum of it.
Okay. Yeah. So we would rather he be accurate than inaccurate, no doubt about it. But ultimately, for me to truly have any concern, it's got to be something that carries into training camp for a guy with the new coaching staff coming off a shoulder injury.
No, I'm not necessarily. I don't know if it's a concern thing for me or just like, okay, what is my lasting, my memory of Cam Ward for the next 6 weeks going to be? Is it going to be a positive one? Is it going to be a negative one? I do think that matters for the level of confidence around all of this stuff for them, not just the fan base who's very concerned about how well they'll do or how well they won't do, depending on how this whole thing goes. Other than that, I don't know that there's something super pressing that I'm on about for mandatory minicamp other than guys who haven't been out there or who we haven't seen out there? I know Jeff Simmons has been around, but I haven't seen Jeff on a practice field. Just new things out there for us to watch, some new arrivals for a team that's largely had, I think, pretty good attendance for the course of this offseason and needs to, because they've got a whole new coaching staff, schemes on both sides, as we've documented throughout the course of the offseason. 615-737-1045, the number. If you want to jump in, you can do that. We are hanging out here at the Nashville Golf and Athletic Club for the radio station's Golf Classic, presented by Ferguson. Also made possible by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, and RTM Roofing, among so many other great sponsors. The second hour is coming up next. Nothing worse than a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost, or if it'll get fixed correctly, or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's when you call Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. The price you're told is the price you'll actually pay, and there's no hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years. They're family-owned and operated. Their techs are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. No more wasting time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guaranteed of happy you'll be, or the service is free. That is the Happy Hiller promise. So visit them and book online today at happyhiller.com.
It is 10:59. Good morning from the Zone Golf Classic at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club. I'm Lucas Panzica. A busy sports weekend ended on Sunday night with the Carolina Hurricanes shutting out the Golden Knights 3-0 in Game 6 in Vegas to win the Stanley Cup for the second time in franchise history. Head coach Rod Brind'Amour becomes the first in the history of the NHL to win the Cup as a team captain and then a head coach for the same franchise. On Saturday, the Knicks sealed their first NBA championship since 1973 with a 94-90 win over the Spurs in San Antonio. It was another comeback effort for the Knicks. They trailed by as much as 16 in the second half, coming back to seal the title in Game 5. Jalen Brunson with a 45-point performance sealing NBA Finals MVP. The U.S. men's national team kicked off their World Cup journey with a dominant 4-1 win over Paraguay on Friday. They topped Group D with 3 points, followed in Balogun with 2 goals. The U.S. back in action against Australia on Friday. The World Cup action continues today. Spain facing Cabo Verde, kicking off right now in Atlanta. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second hour underway. We're hanging out at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club for the station's Zone Golf Classic, made possible by Ferguson, presented by Ferguson, made possible by the Joint Chiropractic, Wayne's Pest Control, and many other great sponsors. Out here today, Lucas is salivating for his opportunity to get to Uncle Bud's or Pick and Pie or Nash Dogs here in just a second. And Kenichi Udeze, former first-round pick, former Titans coach, is going to sit down with us, talk some shop ahead of mandatory minicamp. We have phone calls to take as well. Titans are on the practice field tomorrow and Wednesday. Robert and Lucas are going to have the show the next 2 days. I'll be out at practice since it's our last opportunity to see them in action. Tape a couple of interviews that we can use throughout the course of the rest of the week. Short week. We're off Friday. I forgot about that.
We are off on Friday for Juneteenth. So I hope everybody enjoys their long weekend.
Yes. So we can get back into things that you're looking for from minicamp. If you are, in fact, looking for things out of minicamp, 615-737-1045. Jared is in Spring Hill next.
Interesting.
Is the thing faded up, Kroll? Okay. All right.
All right, Jared. Any others?
Just into the void. I was surprised. I mean, to your point, non-existent interest in OTA's minicamp and other things. But we will have a few things out there to talk about over the course of the next couple of days. Knicks won the title over the weekend, as did the Carolina Hurricanes. Both the NBA and the Stanley Cup seasons are concluded. Jalen Brunson MVP, and a lot of conversation about him and his status in New York City, where he ranks among the greatest legends in that franchise's history. Immediately passes Pat Ewing, because Pat Ewing never won a ring.
Yeah. Like in terms of Knicks lore.
Yeah. Pat Ewing is still a fan favorite, obviously still around. Although, did you see, I'm blanking on the Charles Oakley. Did you see the Charles Oakley stuff about Patrick Ewing?
No.
Very, very not not diplomatic in his feelings about Patrick Ewing, because I guess since James Dolan, who, by the way, can I say this? I am happy for the Knicks fans. I am happy for New York. Hate to see James Dolan win a title. I think objectively, nobody's happy to see James Dolan lifting the trophy up before the players as if James Dolan accomplished something great. So whatever. I know you separate the art from the artist.
That's how this works, right?
Like, no, I know. I feel the same way about a number of NFL owners as well. It's just hate to see James Dolan win. But for the Knicks, for Jalen Brunson, huge opportunity for him and his place in New York sports history. It's one of the most significant sporting events in that city's history, and that's saying something.
Since when? Like, this title means more to New York since what title?
I don't even think it's a title. Who was
or moment or anything?
I think the George Bush first pitch
Yep.
after 9/11 is probably the most recent significant New York sports moment of that consequence that I could think of. Like, that really meant something to that city and, the broader country as well. Obviously, significance of 9/11 and coming back together after the fact to show unity and things like that in this country. Not on the same level as the Knicks winning the title from an emotional standpoint, but I don't know if you can find anything in New York's recent sports history that gets anywhere close to that.
Like, are there any other major markets where the NBA team means more to that community than the NFL team? The Lakers definitely mean more to that community than the Rams, no question.
And
or
it's
the
probably,
Chargers.
well, it's almost Lakers over USC. Like, I don't even USC is above the Rams and the Chargers if they're good. That's their pro football team is USC, the Trojans.
But I think that's
probably still true.
A rare thing right now with the NFL reigning the way it does, for a market to have an NFL and NBA team, and for the NBA team to mean that much more than the NFL team to that respective fan base.
You probably, you wouldn't say the Sixers over the Eagles, right? You wouldn't say.
What about Miami?
You could probably make although Miami, not right now. I mean, I think it's just generally Miami sports down. I think MLS has probably taken up most of the oxygen in Miami. The Panthers didn't make the playoffs this year. They've obviously won back-to-back Stanley Cups prior to this. The Dolphins have done nothing of consequence in quite some time. The Heat have really fallen off, man. I mean, they were at best a play-in team, kind of like pushing to be a play-in team this year. Tyler Hero is the best player on the Heat right now.
It's Bam. Yeah, it's Bam.
But even then, if Bam is your best player, I don't think you're winning anything of consequence. Great on the U.S. national team when we play in the Olympics, but no, I wouldn't say that. It's a pretty tough thing to narrow down, especially because New York has so many titles, 27 for the Yankees. You would say probably the Yankees still takes up so much oxygen. If the Mets were to win a World Series, I still don't think it would resonate the way that the Knicks do.
No, I don't think there's much of anything that could prompt a reaction in New York like what we saw the other night with the Knicks. There's also, other than the Jets, not a more tortured fan base. The Jets are, without a doubt, the more tortured fan base. But it was just cool, man. I don't know the last time I enjoyed watching an NBA championship and how it affected a certain city or community as much as it did the New York Knicks.
I will go back to hating New York. Not hating New York, hating the Knicks. I will go back to hating the Knicks next year. Right now, they get to enjoy their championship. World Cup action going right now. Are we underway?
Spain is facing Cabo Verde, so we are going to either get a 6-0 type of game or something shocking. Probably nothing in between. So we'll see.
Spain, one of the 7 or 8 teams at most, you said you feel like could win the World Cup this year?
They're the odds-on favorite. If you go to most any sports book, they're the defending European champions, a defined style of play, and arguably the best player in the world right now in an 18-year-old Lamine Yamal. So, yeah, no question. If this could happen, it would be probably the greatest upset in World Cup history. I don't think that's hyperbole.
What is the greatest upset in World Cup history?
Saudi Arabia over Argentina 4 years ago, and that was in Argentina's opening match in Qatar, and then they obviously went on to win the tournament, but they took that punch in the group stage right up front. That's absolutely up there. And Senegal over France in 2002 when France were the defending champs, and there's obviously a lot of geopolitical ties there between Senegal and France. And they do face off again. They're in the same group in this World Cup.
Would you know that there were geopolitical ties between Senegal and France, if not for soccer?
No, hell no. That's the beauty of it, man.
The way you
the
just
sport
rattled
educates.
that off.
You think I would know that Cabo Verde was a Portuguese colony until 1970,
you know
if not for this?
I don't care how you learn. I'm just glad that you do.
What do you think the population of Cape Verde is?
Oh, I don't know. 300,000?
491,000.
Okay.
Yesterday, we saw Robert mention the Curacao goal against Germany. Curacao has a population of about 150,000 people. 150,000 people in one nation playing against the 4-time world champion German national team.
Should there be any concern about Christian Pulisic, who got kicked in the back of the calf during that 4-1 win against Paraguay. People seem to play it off or play it down based on when he went out in the game and what actually happened. Is it something worth monitoring?
Let's hear from the man himself. Zach, can we hear from Christian Pulisic being interviewed by Tom Rinaldi? He, for what it's worth, Christian immediately went out there. He was the first player to come out in the mix zone of U.S. players. So it did seem like he was quick to quell concerns. He was leaving the field. Jenny Taft on the broadcast said he was mouthing to his family, "I'm good." But this was Pulisic talking to Tom Rinaldi.
Christian, we'll get to the fabulous result here in a moment, but we have to begin with how you're doing physically, and your reaction to what happened here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great half from us. I got a bit of a kick to the back of my calf, but I'm hoping it's nothing serious at all. So, yeah, I'm going to do everything. I'll be back for the next one.
You're sure, as you stand here right now, you're back for the second match?
I'm going to give everything I can to be back, that's for sure. So I'm not going to give you 100%, but yeah, I'll be there.
Such a long build-up, Christian. What did this group learn about one another tonight?
Just that all our preparation and just honestly over the last years is all just come together tonight, honestly. Just the energy that we brought right from the start of that game and just showed that we can do it on a big stage, so we should be really happy with that.
We talked such a long time about a World Cup on home soil. What did you feel in this building in terms of that energy?
Honestly, it was a different feeling. It was a bit of a calmness, like being in the U.S. and leading up to the game. It was an awesome preparation. So we just want to continue like this and try to really enjoy this moment because it's so special.
Well done. We appreciate the time. Great result.
Thank you.
It's kind of a weird follow-up from Rinaldi. The second question, you're sure?
You're sure?
He just. I mean, I guess if you're Rinaldi,
That's what people want to
make
know.
sure you don't get. There's nothing else there, but he just said, "I'm going to do everything I can to be ready for the game." I don't know if he's going to double down and be like, "No, you know what, Tom, you're right. For America, I'm going to be there." No, my calf is still bothering me. Yeah, we gotta leave it up to the doctors in that specific situation.
Yep. So we'll see. I haven't seen any other updates, which to me, no news is good news about Christian Pulisic. They're on the practice field today for the first time since that game, and they play Australia on Friday. That will be pesky, and we'll have a similar approach to Paraguay.
615-737-1045, the number if you want to jump in. We're hanging out at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club here today for the Zones Golf Classic presented by Ferguson, also made possible by Low T Center and Window Nation, as well as so many other great sponsors today. We're going to talk some shop with Kenichi Udeze, former first-round pick and longtime coach. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. We're hanging out at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club for the station's Zone Golf Classic, and we're very happy to have Kelechi Udeze sitting down with us, former first-round pick, longtime coach, both college and pro, spent a little time here in Tennessee, settled here in Tennessee for the time being. Good to see you.
Likewise, brother. It's a privilege being back here, and the family's really excited and happy being back here in Nashville, so I'm just doing my best with these daddy dues and, of course, taking care of the kids. But I'm finding a great appreciation for it every single day.
Man, we were just talking before we got started here about your journey. And really, not even your journey, because your journey has so many other layers to it. But just your path through the last 18 years, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
coaching at a number of levels. You were here in Tennessee for a few years when things were really humming. 2021, that would have been the year that the Titans were the number one seed. A season that all of us will remember very, very well for how it went, how you guys survived that season, and how it ultimately ended, unfortunately, for everybody involved in that game against the Bengals. Man, but just like when did you decide that you wanted to be a coach before we go back through your career as a player, both college and pro?
Like most athletes, after you finish playing, you're up in the air. You don't know what you want to do. However, when you have a love and affirmation for something, all that means is that you cannot go a day without it. And I love football so much to where I knew that I would, be heading back in that direction, just didn't know the capacity of it. And when everything kind of, resurfaced and I started reaching out to people and they started reaching out to me, well, one of those people that reached out to me was Steve Sarkisian. He was a quarterback coach when I was at USC during those great years under Pete Carroll. And he brought me on as a strength and conditioning coach with Marcus Tuiasosopo because he wanted to get NFL guys in the building and groom them to be coaches. So after about 3 years, I really started, loving the aspect of what I was doing, but I knew there was so much more that I could be doing. So I started, wanting to reach out and do internships and start coaching. So that's when I went and started coaching with the Seahawks. So it wasn't before long that I really understood what I wanted to do, but how I wanted to do it was something that took a long time. Pete always told me, man, it took me 6 years. And when I say Pete, I mean Pete Carroll. Pete said it took him 6 years to get his own room. And I said, damn, Pete, 6 years? And sure enough, I think it's so funny that it took me 6 years to finally get my own room where somebody says, okay, you're in charge of those young men. You got to get them ready to play football, and you got to prepare them for everything that's going on.
The hell just happened?
Kroll? Did it drop? Okay. Quick. Sorry about that, Kelechi.
Remix.
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulty back on in the studio. But yeah, 6 years to get your own room. Like people talk a lot at the NFL level. We're talking a lot about OTAs and minicamp, and of course there's media coverage and media reaction. There's fan engagement and reaction to a lot of things that happen right now. But a lot of this time is critical player development. That's not necessarily a sexy thing to talk about on the radio, to cover on television. But for you, I'm curious to know what you think of the level of coaching development that you got, because we so rarely talk about coaching development. And just having spent the last 11 years covering the Titans, seeing the different style strategies, different paths, different approaches to things. I wonder what you make of the level of coaching development that there is in the game today, and specifically the level that you got, because Pete Carroll, it's tough to do better than that.
I tell people all the time, to really coach and to develop a player, first of all, you have to identify who he is and how he learns. And I learned that as well, being that my mom's a teacher. And after that, you really got to sink your hooks in him, and you have to really coach, especially the most talented one, the most aggressively. When I was at USC, I had an amazing coach. His name is Ed Orgeron. He coached me from the camps that I used to go to in the summertime, and he was my coach for all 4 years I was at USC. And I knew that I was above and beyond different because of the way that he coached me, but more so how he coached me to Mike Patterson, to Sean Cody, to Omar Nazell. I'll never forget, it was a 9-on-7. I was playing in Minnesota. It was my first fall camp. And I did a great job in 9-on-7. I worked an arm over release. I disengaged and I made a football play. And one of the guys that was on the sideline was an undrafted free agent. His name was Spencer Johnson. Ended up playing 9 years in the NFL. He said, hey, how'd you do that, cuz? And I looked at him and said, what do you mean? He said, how'd you get off the block like that? I said, man, you went to Auburn. Like, what do you mean? He's like, man, they told us to rip. I said, nah, man, you got to do a great job disengaging. That's a skill that people don't understand that you have to learn. And so it was just cool that when I was at these places like USC, then I was followed up when I got to Minnesota. I had a great coach in the name of Carl Dunbar, who's another defensive line coach for the Jets. They taught you how to play the game. They taught you how important your feet are. They taught you how important using your strength, your length. It was just something that you can't get everywhere, but when you have a good coach, it never relinquishes your mind space. And so I was just thankful that, from the top all the way down, they put some really cool people and some coaches, beside me that were not only coaches, but they were teachers.
As far as your career and the adversity that you faced as a player and dealing with struggles throughout the course of it, specifically your health, what once you were able to understanding how taxing those things can be on you personally and your family, as well as everybody around you, what lessons could you take from that could help strengthen your resolve that the average person has no concept of what it's like to go through any number of different things?
And it's something that has to be within you. It's not in you. I think that when I recruit a young man and I get to meet his family, I get to meet his coaches, you really get to find out what he's made of and what he's been through, because then you can take him even further. But throughout my entire life, it's been really a blessing to say that I went through what I went through. However, God was transitioning me to be something greater than I could have been on the football field. And whether it was my health, whether it was, my knee injury that sat me down my second year, I can say that there is no mistakes when it comes to, playing football, preparing for it. And then, of course, when your test comes, game day, succeeding and then, of course, passing that test. The hardships that come with it, that's life. I was on the way over here, man, and a good friend of mine from college, man, she lost her sister. And that's what I'm saying. Like, nothing's going to prepare you, for what's ahead. The best thing about football is you're going to have every opportunity to prove yourself and take that next step forward. It's just that so many guys don't. So many guys don't take that last bit of detail and take it to the forefront of what they're doing. And next thing you know, they're having the same results. And that's something that I can say personally, because I never emerged and I never broke through. And then my very last year was my best year. And it was when everything was making sense, everything my coach was saying was making sense. And next thing you know, that's like that, blood cancer, diagnosed at 24 years old, and I had to say bye to the game.
Kelechi Udeze here with us on 104.5 The Zone. We're going to talk a little ball here in just a second, but just your career and your story are fascinating. I want to help people get to know you a little bit, or remind people of some of the things that you've been through and what you've overcome and what you've helped other people accomplish throughout the course of their careers, because you talk about the way that yours was derailed, but so many times unfortunate things happen to players who are excellent in high school or go on to college and have great success, but they don't necessarily have it work out in the pros for any number of reasons, right? There's a million different reasons why it can go wrong as opposed to going right. Oftentimes, though, Kelechi, I feel like those people who don't necessarily have it go their way as pro players oftentimes become the best coaches because of the things that they're able to learn, the differences that they have to approach their job with versus the guys who may be able to get through to a certain point based off talent, skill alone.
Buck, you couldn't have said it best. Couldn't have said it any better. Kevin Williams is a good friend of mine. We played in Minnesota together. He was inducted into the Ring of Honor. And he says, man, when he hears me talking about football, and even when we get on the sticks and we play Madden every now and again, he says, can you imagine if you knew what you knew now? Because with me, especially a lot of young men in college, you're a little bit more talented. You're, freakishly gifted in certain areas to where you can beat that redshirt freshman or that sophomore, and you can have success. However, it's different. If you're not a student of the game is going to have its way with you. You're going to be a step behind. You're not going to know what's going on. Before that ball's even snapped, there's a story being told just by formation, just by the alignment of the back. And a lot of young men, once that ball snapped, they lose all training. They just go full speed, and they have the same result because they're not really trained to play the game of football. And that's something that I wish I would have done a better job of, because when you become a student of the game, it becomes fun and you're being more efficient with your movement. When you could take a chance, working underneath as a pass rusher, when you can do several things. But the one thing that we all have to understand is everybody learns at a different pace. So if you're that number one overall pick, whether you're a quarterback, a left tackle, defensive end, there's going to be a learning curve for you to adjust to. And once you adjust to it, You have to be able to receive coaching, and you have to be able to take another step forward in being a student of the game. Everybody's talented, everybody's gifted, but are you really diagnosing every single play as it comes to you by formation? Hey, is it a cut split? Whatever's going on, you have to be a student.
How did you come to land in Tennessee in 21?
So that's a very great story. So, Derek Mason was, of course, the head coach at Vanderbilt, and we had known each other for a long time. He was one of the assistant coaches that was present in Minnesota.
It's kind of crazy to see him at middle, by the way.
It's a crazy world, man. And so I was at LSU the year before I got to Vanderbilt, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm coming to get you." And I started laughing. I'm like, all right, well, didn't really think much of it. We have our great run with LSU Tigers, winning national championship, SC, undefeated, just a great season. And sure enough, he called me. He offered me a position on the staff, and he wanted to groom me as a defensive coordinator. So I accepted. We moved out here, and that was, of course, COVID year when everything kind of shut down.
Yep.
And it's not like at that moment Vanderbilt was competing like it is now. We had so many guys opt out, which is, their personal choice, and we respected everything that they wanted to do. And at the end of that year, I was kind of figuring things out, and a great friend of mine, Charlie Casserly, who's been GM in the NFL for a very long time, he always told me, man, reach out to coaches that you've met over time and just wish them good luck, whether it's a handwritten card. And I did that, and one of those guys was Mike Vrabel. Mike, great friend of mine still to this day, and I reached out to him, and sure enough, they had lost in, I think it was the wild card round, and he reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in the position? And I said, do big girls like dessert after their entree? I said, yes. And, we started talking and everything worked out. And that's how we got here, me and my family, of course, to Tennessee because, he put me in contact with the mortgage broker, Kent, great dude. Still to this day, I got to take him out to lunch. But that's how I got here to Tennessee. And for the last, 5 years we've been here. We bought a home here. And of all the places that we've lived throughout my coaching career, this is the one place that really felt like home. My wife has, family here and so forth. So it really feels like a great, just atmosphere for, you to raise a family.
I want to go back to Vandy. We're going to have you back because there's a million different layers to this that I think are interesting to, especially being on the other sid of things during your time with the Titans. What it's like to be a coach during that period of time and what it's like to cover you guys. Worth digging into some old stories. But as far as like you mentioned your family and obviously the level of importance and why you're prioritizing family and your guys' piece and right now, given what the rigors of being a coach are, like the constant movement.
Yeah.
You talk about 18 years over how many cities in 18 years?
I want to say about 7.
Okay, 7 cities in 18 years. That's most people will never live in 2 different places in their life, much less 7. The amount of the taxing nature of it. What is the coaching business like from your perspective? Because it does feel like there are some good moments, there are some opportunities. The NFL has tried a number of different things to promote situations that benefit a broader group of people who may not be able to get in rooms or may not have their cards read by Mike Vrabel or whatever the case may be. And I just wonder what you think of the state of coaching and what it is like from a coach's standpoint to go through this personally and for your families as well.
No question. So first and foremost,
it's a long question.
Yes,
that's a terrible job by me.
You're great.
Terrible job.
Don't worry about it. So first and foremost, man, my family is my biggest flex. I take great pride in making them breakfast every morning and just being present and being that dad that I never had. I would say that there's 2 ways to answer this question because in college it's a little different. If you're at one of the blue bloods, the pedigrees of college football, could be a great atmosphere because you're retaining the same players for the most part. You're getting your pick of the litter. And then in the transfer portal, you have the resources to go out and get a couple guys that you feel like can add value to the room and to the team. At, the lower level schools, you don't have that same time frame and you cannot depend on a freshman to help you win. They're not ready yet. That's just the truth of the matter is there's only a handful of guys that can come in as a freshman and they just start knocking things out their way. It's too much, especially coming from that level. And then, of course, jumping into the college atmosphere. So in college, man, that's the hardest part. And that's why it was really a very simple discussion to have with the family because I want to be somewhere not only where I'm valued, but I have the opportunity to provide a great amount of value. And I just realized after the last 2 years, well, I'm doing musical chairs every single year. And the freshmen that come in, they can get discouraged, but they have to sit because they're not ready. And then you realize, man, year round, I'm in the portal. I'm developing these guys. Then they're having all these NIL talks. You got to talk. So it got to a point to where that world wouldn't be so hard if you were at a bigger school because you have resources. You can have those conversations, and then, of course, you look more attractive. So that's probably the biggest thing to overcome in the college landscape of things. In the NFL, man, with the movement, if you're with the right group of men and you have, really good football players, you have culture, like your job is going to be really cool. And I can say that. That's why we had so much success because, we had guys like, Derrick Henry. We had, I can go on and on, just Jeffrey Simmons. It was just so cool because that team came together and it was so cool. The culture was already embedded to where the next man that was in there, he knew what the opportunity presented, and he never really, let the team down. And that's why I was so happy to be a part of that because when you're going to have success as a coach instantly because it's their culture. Are people holding each other accountable, whether they're making a mistake or they're not on time? And that was one of the best things because that's how it was for me. There was no in between. Either it is or it isn't. You did or you didn't. That's as simple as it is in football. Because if you're supposed to be somewhere on time, be there on time. That lets you know and everybody else know how much you care and how important it is to be in that building. And that's one thing that I can say in most places that I've been. I've had that luxury of being places where there was culture in place. Because if there's none, you kind of realize like, oh, this is going to be a tough one, but you just try to do your best to get your guys ready.
And they've been trying to figure it out here in Tennessee since then. I mean, and it's they've brought in good people. There've been coaches who have had experience. It's such a once you have it, it's a wonderful thing, but it's such a difficult thing. It's almost you can't recreate something that you've had somewhere else. I feel like in a lot of situations, I feel like it just has to happen organically, and that's such a difficult balance when you've got as many moving parts as a college team or a pro team, especially right now, the college game. My God, I can't imagine.
It does, because football is one of the most selfless acts that you can actually be a part of. And once you realize it's no longer about you, when I would say to my guys all the time, nobody does anything great alone. Like, I would love to think that, my defensive end can get a great individual pass rush. But however, if we're not working together, we're not balancing the rush up, and guys don't understand what the slide of the protection is telling us, then we're not going to have success. So when you can become a selfless human being on a football team, that's when culture is in place. Because not only do you turn on the film and you guys watch it together, and you guys, hey man, I trust that dude. Some guys, it doesn't matter; they're going for theirs, and they don't understand how this isn't high school, man. You can't just run around everybody. You have to be a part of something bigger than yourself.
You bring up your time here in Tennessee and the players that contributed to the culture. And obviously every coach to a man or woman that I've covered here in the NFL have always talked about the players being the most important thing. The best teams are player-led. Again, things that are easy to say and speak into existence until you see what it looks like when that doesn't exist. I'm telling you, Kenichi, the last couple of years here in Tennessee, it's been tough. And you mentioned Jeff Simmons. Jeff has really, to me, and I've had some criticisms of Jeff over the course of his career and moments, but just to see who that guy was all last season long, both on the field and off the field, in ways that I hadn't seen from Jeffrey before. He doesn't need me or anybody else to be impressed with him to do it, but I wonder what you make of his personal growth and development, having seen that up close and personal.
And you hit it right on the head. Early in his career, you saw some of the immaturity and some of the things that he did that, kind of hurt the team and so forth. But you see so much potential, and you've seen it just flourish over the years. I can say I love Jeffrey Simmons because I'll never forget there was one day in OTAs. Man, it was like a trick play.
Man, that had to be long ago for Jeff to be an OTA. It's been a while.
It was such a great play because when your best football players are running and chasing something, it's a beautiful thing because that's the standard. Man, Jeffrey broke out and ran 20 yards and it was just one of those plays to where you understand like what's inside somebody. A coach told me a long time ago, a defensive lineman is not ready to play football until you see him chasing something at least 10, 15 yards down the field. And that's exactly what he did. And to have that and just to see the kind of just to hear the kind of camaraderie we had. Let me give you a quick story. Christmas time. So we had this, this thing where Coach Williams, Terrell, he used to have this black Santa, and I told my wife about it. She was like, oh, my gosh, that's a lot of money. But we got gifts for everybody in the room. That's how, tight the room was.
Which, by the way, so happy to see Coach D doing better with his health struggles.
That's my guy.
This past year.
I've been reaching out and doing everything I can just to be present and let him know that I'm always a phone call away. So I'm really thankful that, he's doing great. And, of course, he's still, doing what he loves to do. Man, we had this gift sequence, and everybody's giving gifts, and I'm not a big gift person. I'm not. I promise you. I got some Adidas on that I got from work a couple years back. I am not the flashy guy. My players laughing at me like, Coach, like, where's your swag at? My swag is when you turn that film on. Okay, that's my. Don't worry about what I'm wearing. I wear the same stuff every single day for a reason because I want the same guy every single day. Man, Jeffrey got me some of the nicest gifts. And it was just a great appreciation for me because as a coach, man, I'm doing it just because I want to see you have success. I want to see you flourish. I want to see you get to that next contract. He got me this expensive bag, and I'm not into that kind of stuff. I didn't realize how much it cost. And I almost gave it back to him. And I said, Jeff, man, you don't have to do that. He said, no, yes, I did. He said, thank you, man. Most of the time, I'm just, whining and complaining. He said, but you always listen to me, man, and you always take the time, like, to pull me aside and say, hey, this is what you should have done, or this should have been like this. And he was always able to receive coaching. I tell young men all the time, when you're able to receive coaching, you're going to go further than everybody else. A lot of young men, they get in their own way because somebody's trying to tell them something, and the first thing that they think about is the tone that they're giving them. As you start to mature and you grow older as a man, you can look at it two ways. How is somebody saying it to me, or what are they actually telling me? And that's something that I learned last year at FIU. We had a breakout where we all had, as position coaches, we had our guys, and I'm in the room with them. And keep in mind, I'm old school to where my coach used to tell me anything and everything. He never disrespected me, but it was full go, like, coach me. I didn't care what it looked like, just coach me. And I had 10 guys in my group. Of those 10 guys, how many would you guess were more concerned with how they were being told than what was being said?
Well, that's an interesting question. Let's say half.
9. There was only one guy who's like, nah, coach, I just got to get better. The other guys were like, it's the way that they tell me. So that's why as a coach, that's what I'm saying. You have to learn your players. You have to identify because some guys are going to cave when you go in on them. And if you don't have a world-renowned process of getting them back, it's really hard to get that player back because they feel disconnected from you.
I want to – you'll have to come back and visit with us again because we're out of time here, unfortunately. But I want to get more into the process of coaching. I think it's such a fascinating, granular look at how you guys get what we all get to see on Sundays, and obviously, media we get a little more, but not that level of detail, not the approach, the philosophical things that you guys bring to that job. It's just really good insight, and I really appreciate you sitting down with us today.
Anytime, man. And to all my players out there, if you get to listen to this, get your big butts up and get moving. Nothing's going to work unless you do.
Get at you, Desi. Where can people follow along?
Coach BKU.
Coach BKU on Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Instagram. That's where you go, and we'll have it back again. We'll continue the coverage here from the Zones Golf Tournament. Many thanks to the Atlanta Braves, the Tennessee Titans, Nashville SC, and Tennessee Athletics for making today possible. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. 615-737-1045, the number. If you want to get involved, you can do just that. What'd you eat?
Oh, Uncle Bud's is here. Uncle Bud's is here. Nash Dogs is here. Oh, man. This event, when the day is like this, you're missing out not being out here. Even if you're not playing, even if you're not signed up, just come say what's up. Zach is housing some chicken in a rocking chair right next to us. Where would you rather be?
He's not begun to house the chicken yet, but
oh, that's the fish.
Okay.
All right, one bite.
Oh, man.
Come on, one big bite. There it is.
No,
that was weak.
Some catfish. I could do some catfish today.
And for me, it's the white beans. The white beans at Uncle Bud's. I could just drink out of like a big gulp.
That is such an insane thing to say. And for you, it's normal, because I believe you. I believe that you would do something like this. Any other human being saying that sentence is unreal. You would have really enjoyed that conversation. We'll have to have Kelechi Udeze back on the show, just because 18 years in coaching, college and pro, after having been on those USC teams with Pete Carroll and the journey that it's taken him on. He's a fascinating guy, and especially the college game stories that he has to tell of those Pete Carroll USC teams.
Man.
Especially with summer coming up, Robert's always looking for ways to make his life easier. I think Kelechi just did that for us.
I have no doubt about it.
What do we got going on in the World Cup?
Cabo Verde's hanging on, man. It's scoreless. Spain has not been able to break through. There's 3 minutes left of stoppage time before the first half comes to an end. Your Egyptians play today.
Yeah.
Play Belgium in the next game up after this, believe a 2 p.m. Central kickoff. So we'll see. We'll see what Mo Salah's got in store.
Can I watch that on Fox? Are they all on Fox?
They're all on either FS1 or Fox.
Okay. I will be locked into the Egyptian national team later today. I'm excited. I'm enjoying the holy hell out of this World Cup. Not just, initially it was just because of the ridiculous interactions that human beings were having with people from other countries. By the way, I don't, and you may have even been the one to point this out in the Twitter chat, so forgive me if I'm stealing your material and not crediting you properly, but somebody made the point the other day of just how funny a pairing Mexico and Korean fans
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know that there's a greater source of sports joy right now than the interactions happening between the Mexican nationals and the Koreans, who have basically come into all parts of Mexico, taking it over, waving their shirts around. Although the Japanese, that watch party that you showed us pictures of in East Nashville, was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Insane. I wonder how many people are just coming into the United States and going to various places that maybe they've wanted to visit and taking in the World Cup communally beyond just being able to go to the game. I know, and we can talk about ticket and how many tickets have not been sold or how many tickets have not been fulfilled throughout the course of this World Cup at a later date, because I think the soccer and just the human interest part of this has been so fascinating, which is also what FIFA's counting on to cover up any level of misdeeds that are going on under the surface. But man, the soccer has been great. The soccer has been excellent, and maybe I don't feel that way if the USA doesn't win 4-1 to get the weekend started, but I watched a ton of it this weekend, and normally, especially because I was just working on Saturday, I just had it on. Taking it in. I know you guys were out in different places and watching it communally, which is the best way to do it, but I've just genuinely enjoyed having the soccer on at home.
Yeah, there hasn't been a dud yet, and we still haven't seen the likes of France and England and Belgium still hasn't played. A lot of contenders that still haven't touched the field. 48-team World Cup, that means you've got about 6 or 7 days in between group stage games, which didn't used to be the case. It would be 4 or 5. So it's a lot of extra rest in between, and the action has just been awesome. The hydration breaks have been an issue.
Yeah, so explain this to me, because there are not commercial breaks under normal circumstances in a soccer game.
Never in my life have I watched a soccer game with a commercial break during the first or second half until this World Cup.
Okay, so hydration breaks, should the venues be outdoors, would make sense, I would think, in the United States in, middle of June. We're now officially the middle of June.
Yeah.
But many of these venues are indoors.
Yes.
And
or being played on crisp, beautiful days like today, where it's 80 degrees, 78 degrees.
So I see a great deal of displeasure on the internet being expressed by people who watch soccer on a regular basis, and I am here to tell you that the answer to all of your questions is what, Lucas?
Well, yeah, it's money, and everybody knows that. Like, people are not flabbergasted by it.
So what is it? Just complaining for the sake of complaining? Because like this feels like something that you would get not upset, that you would give me a hard time if I did. Like something that I knew was going to happen, but I'm going to bitch about it anyway.
Well, we don't have to like it. Like, we can walk and chew gum. We can understand why something is happening.
Just
and
going to
also
remind you of this the next time I'm upset about something. I say, wait, I can't be upset?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Just despise the I mean, I like clench my fists whenever
Do you really?
those graphics start playing. They start rolling to break 22 minutes into a half. Oh, it's insane. Now, mad respect for a lot of networks around the globe that refuse to go to commercial. Telemundo, several other international networks.
Oh, so just Fox is doing this?
Fox in some other countries, it's happening as well. But as far as I'm concerned, the English coverage in the UK is not going to commercial. The Telemundo coverage in Mexico is just staying there. And analysts are, taking that moment to reset. But, yes, it is a way to feed the cash cow under the guise of player safety, something we know well in American sports.
Speaking of American sports, a quick update here from Adam Schefter on James Pierce. Atlanta Falcons defensive end James Pierce Jr. returned to the team's Flowery Branch training facility today for the first time since being charged with aggravated battery and fleeing law enforcement back on February the 7th. Pierce is expected to take part in this week's mandatory minicamp, but he is not anticipated to address the media. You can hide him for the offseason. He's going to have to answer questions at some point. I can't stand that. Just get it over with. Just rip the Band-Aid off. If we're going to be shameless about the things that we do to get athletes available who probably should not be available to participate in sports that generate a great deal of money, and he plays a very important position. But if we're going to do all of these things and put the morals aside, at least make him answer the questions about it. Just do it.
It's going to have to happen eventually.
He's going to get approached in the locker room in a more volatile situation unless you just have him unless you just have him pushing this off until there's some level of legal resolution to say, I defer to my statement on the matter, which is probably what's going to happen here. And it makes me insane. And I know it's all over sports, and I know I'm moral grandstanding or on my soapbox or whatever about things that I can't change that I'm upset about, right? Walk and chew gum. But it's just a joke, the James Pierce situation.
Yeah, just get out in front of it. Just rip the Band-Aid, man. Like, I don't know. He's going to have to speak at so he's not going to speak throughout the course of minicamp? Is that what the deal is?
Not expected to be available to the media.
Okay, so until training camp then. Basically.
So they basically put him on ice for another, because, when he hasn't been approached by the media to this point, right? It's the first time he's been around the facility. So he will essentially have gone from February 7th to July 22nd. 23rd, depending on which team you're talking about, without having to answer questions. And that's the earliest possible date. It could be August before they finally get a hold of him because they don't have to open the locker room to us during training camp.
He's going to be out there. Week 1, James Pierce is going to be on the field, right? Is there any suspension that's anticipated here?
No, if there is, again, I suppose it depends on the legal outcome here. But if there is any situation, he's on camera. He's on camera doing some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the crazy thing to me. There's video evidence, and it's not like Ray Rice video evidence, right? Yeah. But it's all of the things that he shouldn't be doing there in front of you. And what are you going to say? You're gonna get a plea deal or something like that? You're going to walk away without a situation in which you are held accountable in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, we're live here at the Zones Golf Classic. Stick around. It's 104.5 The Zone. All right, it's the final hour. Goes by fast when we're hanging out at a beautiful place like the Nashville Golf and Athletic Club, which is where we are at today. Lucas just got some Uncle Buds, who is in part making this great event possible, as well as Ferguson, who presents the golf tournament. I think on an annual basis presents the tournament. Special thanks to our beverage sponsors: Coca-Cola, Milagro Tequila, Hendrick's Gin, Reka Vodka, Sailor Jerry Spiced Rum, Leaper's Fork Distillery, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Ooh, I love a Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. And Yazoo Brewing Company. Also love a Yazoo Hefeweizen. Not a big beer guy, but during the summer, I want 2 beers tops. If I want a beer, I want 2 beers tops, but it's got to be like the right temperature. Cold beer on a hot day. There is nothing. That's a top 3 American sensation, okay? And I know beer's not exclusively ours, but like there's nothing that make you feel more like summer, golf, festivities, football, World Cup, whatever, than a cold beer on a hot day. I want a beer.
Which World Cup nation do you think drinks the most beer per capita?
How could it not be Germany?
It's
per capita.
Per capita. Yeah, Germany's a big country.
Okay.
Kirby says Scotland. more whiskey, folks, but you're on the right track.
Kirby's 100 feet away. It's yelling answers.
Scotland, maybe? The Scots are taking over. But no, the answer is Czech Republic.
Okay, so
Czech
per
Republic.
capita. Per capita, that makes sense.
Pilsner was invented in the Czech Republic.
Well, also
Czechia, excuse me.
I also don't think it's Eastern Europe terribly happy place right now. I think there may be some self-medicating going on. So per capita, yeah, that adds up. We do have some people on the line that want to talk World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. 615-737-1045. Let's try Kevin in Hendersonville.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about, I know y'all were talking about the reception of the World Cup and all the people traveling overseas. I don't know if you've seen or not, but the new world sensation, Freddie, and all the stuff that's been happening with him. Ella Langley reached out to him. He's got free concert tickets. J.J. Watt got him a hotel in Houston. But, yeah, big stuff happening there with Freddie. And so I didn't know if y'all had seen that, if y'all want to talk about that a little bit. Maybe Lucas knows a little bit more about that. But, yeah, thanks, guys. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you for the call. Yeah, we have, and it's okay, we have touched on Freddie LA7, I think is
just a German
the Twitter
social
handle.
media user.
I love that he doesn't want his face posted.
Yeah, he blocks it out.
That's the most European thing, because like an American influencer, they're going to be plastered all over the place, right? They're going to take full advantage of the clout that many of these famous people and just wonderful Americans along his journey, right? He took a road trip from, I don't know where his initial landing place was. I know he was in New Orleans for a period of time. I know he was in Alabama.
I think he started driving in Atlanta because he went up through Tennessee all the way down to Alabama, went to the Argentina game in Auburn, and then up through New Orleans and into Texas, where he was at the Germany game the other day.
Yeah, so he's a German national on vacation with a couple of his buddies, and they're road tripping to a number of World Cup spots and cataloging it on Twitter.
Yeah, but
it's one of the more wholesome things. It's been a while since Twitter's been collectively wholesome. World Cup is doing a lot of good work for Twitter.
He lost me, though.
What do you mean?
The other day.
Why? What happened?
He lost me when he went out to eat.
Yeah.
And he posted a picture at a certain establishment that will not be named.
Yeah, no, we can't talk about that.
And said lives were changed.
Just know it's lesser chicken.
It's just chicken tenders, bud.
Yeah.
You don't have to like you're German, you know good food. You don't have to pretend to like.
Although, have you had schnitzel?
Average chicken tender.
Like, because that's basically what schnitzel is, and schnitzel is no great like.
Yeah, it's good.
Writing home about, nothing great to write home about. So, like, I get why a German would be impressed by middling chicken.
It's just chicken tenders.
That comes with a sauce that is slightly, not even, it's whatever. We will take better care of you here in Tennessee, or soon in where was the most recent Hattie B's location announced? I want to say Plano, Texas. There was another Texas location I want to say for Hattie B's. Either way, Hattie B's worldwide expansion
soon to East Nashville,
coming to a German national near you. Yes, East Nashville. They've got their grand opening for that location next week.
Yep,
if I'm not mistaken. So looking forward to that. 615-737-1045, the number if you want to talk World Cup. Obviously, a great sports weekend, as we talked about, to open the show, with the Knicks becoming NBA champions for the first time in 53 years, with the Carolina Hurricanes leaving no doubt basically over the course of the last 2 games of the Stanley Cup final, a worthy Stanley Cup champion against Vegas, who kind of a hockey villain anymore.
Oh yeah. Nobody wanted Vegas to win that Stanley Cup. I think everybody was in on the Hurricanes, the story that is Rod Brindamore, the story that is Brandon Bussey stepping in goal, Jordan Stahl at 37 years old winning the Conn Smythe. There was not a single neutral viewer watching that series that was pulling for the Golden Knights. Similar to the Knicks series, I feel like the whole country rallied behind the New York Knicks, unless you just hate the Knicks. But I don't know.
Even if you hate the Knicks, there are people in Boston, there are people in Indiana, there are people in Philadelphia that turned a blind eye, at least for a brief moment in time, to their Knicks hatred. Maybe last night they didn't hate the Knicks. Maybe today they go back to hating the Knicks. I guess that game was, when was that game? Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday night. Should we talk about Victim Wembanyama?
I do want to talk.
So was that actually a Skip Bayless term? Did he actually come up with that?
It is a very rare moment in 2026, after many, many years of just being worn down by hot takery and inflammatory tweets that are meant for the purpose of just enraging people or engaging, belittling professional athletes to the tune where you make a career out of it. In the case of LeBron James and Skip Bayless is most well known for just hating LeBron James on a regular basis. So it's very rare that I see Skip Bayless do something on the internet that brings me great joy. But when he tweeted out, Victim Wembanyama, after Wemby loses the NBA Finals at home to the Knicks with a considerable lead for the vast majority of that game, and really, it was a slugfest. It was a slugfest, this final game of the NBA Finals, all right? Yeah. Outside of Jalen Brunson, nobody really doing that much. So for Wembanyama to have that lead at home, to blow the lead, to blow several games in this series the way that they did, to get to the podium. And then, in fact, Zach, I think we have the audio of Victor, don't call him Victim Wembanyama, which was the Skip Bayless tweet, after this press conference. Let me hear from Wemby after the Spurs were defeated by the Knicks.
Every team you faced so far, you guys always found a way to get over the top eventually. What did you learn about how hard it is to win the finals against this Knicks team where they kept coming up with answers? Brunson just could always score no matter what in the end.
I learned one of many things I learned is the margin of error is very, very thin. Our domination stints are absolute. We absolutely dominated for most of the series. But our errors, our mistakes, are punished so hard that we can't have ups and downs like this so much, you know. The ups are okay, the downs, it's the reason we lost.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Nothing he said was incorrect.
Nothing he said was incorrect.
He also, you know what he sounds like? He sounds like Adam Driver's Star Wars character. He sounds like Kylo Ren.
With a French accent?
Yes. Can we hear just a little bit of that again?
Just
Zach?
play it from the top and then fade it down after like 10 seconds.
Of just.
No, it's okay. Take your
time.
time. It's okay. Not worth bringing it back up. But okay, he's doing the thing like when he gets a foul called on the Knicks, he's doing the thing where he's pointing to his head and saying, "I'm in your head." In what was that, game 3 or game 2?
No, it was game 4. The game they collapsed.
No, he did it. Well, then he did it several times. Okay, he did it earlier in the series.
He
as well.
was phenomenal in the first half of game 4, and he was doing the in your head bit constantly.
It's not the first time that he has done it. Okay, so then he gets away with a flagrant foul. I think you could say he got away with several flagrants in this series that would be of consequence, especially the foul that was not called when he facepalmed Jalen Brunson, which got New York very upset at him. So then New York lashes out and they start egging him, and you're like, all right, well maybe I'm a little more sympathetic for Wembanyama than I would otherwise be. He just seemed to me, and maybe this is how it should be. He's 22. He's 22 years old. Okay, he's a little bit of a petulant child out there.
He's French.
Well, that's also contributing to his petulance, I'm sure. petulance inherently with the French.
The French are famously petulant.
Famously petulant. So the fact that this one is giant and petulant and a child at the same time, while also being a literal child at 22 years old, maybe it should not surprise me. But just every time I hear him talk about things, I'm just like, oh, literally, you are the definition of act like you have been here before, but you haven't. So I have to cut you some level of grace. But I didn't think I would be out on Wembanyama, and I'm not out on him because he's still a spectacular athlete at the very, very onset of his career. And I don't disagree with what he's saying there because they were probably, 10 or 15 plays away.
I would love to know
from winning that series.
I want to know of the total minutes played in 5 games of the NBA Finals. How many of those minutes the Spurs led? Like, what percentage of game time were the Spurs leading? Because I guarantee you it was more.
Yes.
For sure.
And so when you have these setbacks, and he's talking about, we're just penalized so much more for the losses than we were for the good play that we put out on the court. Well, yeah, that's kind of the nature of sports. That's why the losses hurt so much more than the wins feel good, because they will sit with you and you'll just stew on it. Now you have an entire offseason to stew on the mistakes that you made, to replay those De'Aaron Fox miscues, the Mitch Johnson. Somebody asked me yesterday if I thought he was going to get fired. And I said, I have a really hard time, an organization like the Spurs, firing a coach in a reactionary way. Because it would be reactionary. But if you were going to take a moment in time to be reactionary about a coach's decision, wouldn't you say not benching De'Aaron Fox probably in huge part cost the Spurs the series?
Yeah, Zach dug up a stat that the Spurs led for 173 minutes, which was 72% of the NBA Finals. 72% that they led, and they won. They took 1 game out of 5. Lost the series in 5. Early hole that the Knicks dug out of on the road in Game 1 to come back and win. The Spurs had a comeback of their own at the end of Game 2 and threw that game away at the end. And then you win Game 3, and then the historic meltdown in Game 4, and then to lose up 16 in the second half in Game 5. That just felt never in doubt. At no point during Game 5 did I think the Spurs were going to win the game. At no point. It just felt like it was in that range where the Knicks had them right where they wanted them. It was the craziest thing.
I wouldn't quite say that I felt that way, like that they had them where they wanted them, because they were leading, or they were trailing by, as many as 15 at certain points, right?
16 was the biggest deficit.
So I wouldn't say I felt like it was never in doubt for the Knicks, but I did go into that game with the overwhelming feeling like, okay, if you're champions, just end it. Like, just go end this. Like, go do what you – and it took Jalen Brunson being like, all right, I'll do it. Nobody else going to do it. I'm going to do it. OG, you had your moment. Great. Cat, you kind of faded after the first 2 games, but we got what we needed out of you to put the performance together that we needed to get. Jalen Brunson put the team on his back, literally, in that final game and put up 45, which was, half of what?
Almost half. They scored 94 points as a team. Yeah. 45 points is exactly half as much as San Antonio scored. Not a career high for Brunson. His career high in his NBA career is 61 from a 2024 game that happened against the Spurs.
So I come away from this, I do come away from this series feeling less about, I don't like Victor Wembanyama, I feel like. And maybe he'll just be spectacular and he'll grow out of some of the immaturity stuff that he put on display. And again, it's understandable why he would be immature at 22, but maybe I just don't like 22-year-olds anymore. I don't know. It's just annoying to me. It's like, grow up a little bit. And understandably, this would be a series. If things go to plan for him in his career, this will be a significant growing up moment for him, both on and off the court. 615-737-1045, the number. If you want to jump in, you are welcome to do so. I want to make fun of somebody else who had a terrible weekend. I want to make fun of Texas Tech, who is probably the only entity that had a worse weekend than Victor Wembanyama. And the Spurs, they just can't stay out of their way. We'll talk about it next. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Employee pricing for everyone. That is what's on offer at Two Rivers Ford. That's one of many reasons that they are the South's most trusted Ford dealer, because they go above and beyond to make the car buying process fast, easy, and more fun for you. Two Rivers is a family experience. They're family owned and operated. As I mentioned, they've been in business for over 4 decades because they do business the right way with honesty and integrity. Go to Two Rivers Ford, just 7 miles east of Nashville International Airport, and you pay what they pay on nearly every Ford vehicle on the lot, with one of the largest inventories of Ford vehicles anywhere in the Southeast. Two Rivers Ford, local, honest, real, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. So we have talked about Texas Tech ad nauseum. We have talked about Brendan Sorsby ad nauseum. Lucas, one of my favorite think pieces done on this, because there are many, understandably so, when, I don't know, would you say the entire infrastructure of collegiate athletics as we know it is being threatened by this? In a way that there has been no greater threat posed to collegiate athletics.
To the integrity of the game.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Okay, so understandably, a lot of think pieces about Brendan Sorsby. One of my favorite such pieces is on USA Today, and it comes from Blake Totmeyer, who is a longtime SEC columnist for USA Today. Was he at the Knoxville News Sentinel or the Tennessean for a while?
Sorry, who?
Blake Totmeyer.
Yeah, Knox News Sentinel. He's USA Today's SEC columnist.
So he went about this in my favorite way, where he put together a piece entitled "The 8 Dumbest Quotes Associated with Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech in the Wake of
I
this
like
latest
that. That's good.
Scandal." It is a doozy. So, of the dumb quotes, do you have a dumb quote, or you are just generally fed up with the state of things around a very, very dumb story that finds ways to get dumber at every turn?
Everything that has come out of the Texas Tech corner or camp has been like bury your face in your hands. Like you guys just don't get it. You're not getting it here. Or I guess they are, and they're trying fruitlessly to spin this in certain ways. But there was one that you were probably out, that Robert and I referenced, that I can't remember who it was Cody Campbell. Cody Campbell joined the Dan Dockett show.
I saw that.
And made the statement
Which,
that,
by the way, I mean, and Dan went to Indiana and Indiana basketball, and was very, very kind to me when I was a student. But Dan Dockett, just stop. And just the entire experience of Dan Dockett.
It makes sense.
What are we doing?
Cody Campbell, who had the audacity to go on the Dan Dockett show and say that nobody would be talking about this or care if this was LSU. Which just you just want to I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Cody. Nobody would care. Because it's
Lane
LSU.
Kiffin.
That's right. If Lane
did it.
If Lane went out and got the quarterback.
There would be no coverage. There would be no outrage if Lane Kiffin did anything.
No, we'd say, but it's Lane. We love everything Lane does. I mean, what a joke, man.
So, there have been people... Did you see the head coach named Joey McGuire?
Yeah,
is that right?
that's
Joey
the head
McGuire.
coach.
Okay. So Joey McGuire is speaking to a number of Texas Tech fans and alumni at an event. And he is talking about the situation around his potential quarterback, right now would be his quarterback, in Brendan Sorsby, because the temporary injunction is still ongoing as we await legal ramifications on the NCAA side. But it is more likely that he plays than not, which is an insane thing to say. So Joey McGuire, the head coach of Texas Tech, gets up there and says, well, it's not like he murdered anyone.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Like, if you ever wanted to see the disconnect between the way that football coaches can sometimes get about players and the importance of football.
Think about how bad it could have
been. And the
been.
actual important things in life versus their outsized level of importance on football, it's Joey McGuire being like, hey, he didn't kill anybody, guys.
Just gambled on his own games.
You dumbass.
It's all good.
Oh my God! Is it this? What Joey McGuire sound do you have, Krull? Because I would be curious to hear how many other dumb quotes I can hear from the Texas. Anybody involved with Texas Tech around this utterly stupid story?
Sorsby is recovering from an addiction. He's recovering. I've sat down with this young man multiple times, and the things that he is going through and what he's been through is serious. As a society, we've been okay with other things that happens and allowing players to play, and this has been the one thing that has united people that we're against, and it's crazy because it's not murder, it's not beating somebody, so there's a lot of things that we're working through.
Thank
it's
God.
not murder. It's not beating somebody.
Yeah.
No, Joey, because if it was, you'd probably get him back on the field faster.
You guys need to calm down. It's not murder.
There's a lot of things that go down that people are more comfortable with. Yeah, this is the one thing you can't do.
Yeah.
I am so mind-boggled. And again, I don't think that this is representative of the entire Texas Tech fan base. I'm sure there are plenty of people that root for that program that understand this is very wrong. This is very wrong what's going on. And yeah, maybe we potentially get an opportunity to advance further in the college football playoff if we let this kid play football. But what if they won? Let him play, don't make the college football playoff, and they've ruined the entire infrastructure of collegiate athletics as we know it in the process just to let this quarterback get out there. And by the way, at every turn, they keep making comments on it. This Cody Campbell dude, this booster, Joey McGuire, the head coach, people associated. There was like a 21-minute hostage video that I saw Josh Pate bring my attention to. Pate was talking about it last night on his show, where there are various people associated with Texas Tech athletics in a 21-minute video going through, all decked out in their Texas Tech gear, going through the different, implications and what they're taking into consideration. Because, again, Texas Tech is not a part of the lawsuit for Sorsby to regain his eligibility, but they are supporting his pursuit to regain his eligibility. And it's a 21-minute hostage video. At every turn, they keep talking. It's like watching Mike Vrabel after this Diana Rossini thing. Just stop talking.
Yeah. And the latest on this.
Stop talking. What are you doing? Who is giving you this horrendous PR vice that you just keep getting up there and making yourself look worse at every turn?
Well, the news today from Pete Thamel, the Big 12 has filed a complaint in federal court in Dallas for a declaratory judgment which would effectively give the league the ability to enforce its bylaws. This comes in response to the Texas AG's letter last week. For those who missed it, the Attorney General of Texas sent a letter to the Big 12 Conference, essentially threatening legal action against the conference if the conference tries to hold Texas Tech's feet to the fire in this. So this is starting to get messy. Thamel says this would empower the Big 12 to have autonomy to make a decision on Brendan Sorsby's case. So it seems at the moment as though the Big 12 Conference is looking to do something about this, despite pressure from the Texas AG to say, hey, don't mess with a legal decision made in the state of Texas. The Big 12 is saying, no, we're going to. And if they can do this and hold Brendan Sorsby to conference bylaws, that will create a very interesting loop here. I'm not sure.
The situation for Texas Tech has a lot of egg on their face. Because of this situation is falling in their lap because they chose to sign this player, right? I'm an Indiana alum, okay? He was on Indiana when he was making these bets. Indiana not getting any crap for the Brendan Sorsby situation. They're probably looking around. If somebody and I understand that it's a different staff than it is now. Signetti was not the coach at the time. I guess that would have been Tom Allen in 2022.
Yeah. Tom Allen preceded Signetti.
So let me not say that Tom Allen knew or whatever, but somebody with that program is going to look around and be like, not surprised. And then he goes to Cincinnati and he plays college football, and Cincinnati apparently was the entity that reported his transgressions, his gambling situation, that then said about the domino effect of him then needing to go into the gambling addiction treatment facility, and then the NCAA banning his eligibility, all these different things. Cincinnati getting off scot-free here?
It seems
because
that
Cincinnati
way.
had to have known.
That's the part
to
of this.
then report Brendan Sorsby. So
we're ignoring that part of this.
I'm really again, Texas Tech.
But who's gonna do something against Cincinnati? You tell me. The NCAA?
What do you mean? Oh, no, not now. It doesn't matter now. It doesn't. What matters now is Texas Tech and them being the one to have to carry this sword into a battle that nobody wants Texas Tech to fight. Yeah. Right? Just back the hell off. But there are so many other people involved with this situation over the timeline dating back to 2022. They're just throwing their hands up in the air and be like, hey, not our problem now. Let Texas Tech deal with it. So while I am wildly unsympathetic to Cody Campbell and Joey McGuire and all these other Texas Tech dopes that are out there trying to justify the least justifiable thing maybe in college sports history, I'm also looking at Indiana and Cincinnati and be like, hey, boys, Like you can't just like let them stand out front and take all of these slings and arrows as a meat shield. It's ridiculous that you think that you should just be able to get off scot-free here. And that's as somebody who wants to see Indiana football grow and do better and continue to operate at a championship level. There has to be some level of investigation into how early did we know, or how early did people know at Cincinnati and Indiana beyond just Texas Tech being like, all right, go play football.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the fallout from this is.
I'm so tired of this story already.
If the Big 12, but it is, I mean, this really feels like a coming to a head moment in college athletics.
No,
if you're going to have a conference that's dug in and that is butting heads with the Attorney General of the state that is pressuring them to back a legal decision made by a Texas judge, I don't know who has the leverage in that situation, who has more power, the upper hand in that situation. Like, it is the Big 12 conference. Teams should operate under their bylaws, but does the Attorney General of Texas actually have any recourse to say, no, you have to follow what a local judge ruled? That supersedes your conference bylaws. I have no idea where this is going to go between the Big 12 and the state, I suppose. But there's a lawsuit, and it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
I just think it's so funny that so many sports fans are finding out that the American judicial system maybe not operating at its highest level here lately when something like this gets through the court system in a way where the fail-safes technically worked. Like, they identified the people that were Texas Tech alums that were sitting on the bench, pulled them out, took this judge off the bench, put him in there. He's like, go play football.
Shocking result.
What are you talking about?
And said judge, Ken Curry, I believe was his name, is just playing golf somewhere. Like, this dude
I ain't give a damn.
Just left a disaster in his wake. One of the biggest disasters we have seen in American sports. I don't even think that's hyperbole. And
it did not result in a loss of life. This is as disastrous a moment in sports as I can remember.
And he's probably just on the link somewhere. Definitely not as beautiful as
maybe playing in the golf tournament.
Yeah, I'm sure he wishes he was here at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club.
Oh, my God. 615-737-1045. The number, if you want to jump in, we'd be happy to have you. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is how you can interact with the show, where we are live streamed today. Is it Terrell in Nashville who wants to talk about Brendan Sorsby? Go ahead.
What's up, Buck? What's up, y'all? Man, glad for y'all to take my call. But one thing I did want to say is, if I ever decided to do anything illegal, I'll know all I need to do is just get a quarterback with some elites, with some type of good arm skills like Sorsby, and they'll let me get away with anything in here. Because it's like that, hearing what people are coming out from Texas Tech are saying, they're describing it like he's just overcome life's hardest battle. The guy literally posted on Instagram talking about bet on yourself right after the decision from the judge. And so it's like, and like you said, you can't just get off scot-free with a lot of that stuff because, mind you, Indiana and Cincinnati knew something beforehand. And lastly, the comment about, we wouldn't be talking about this if it was Lane Kiffin. If Lane Kiffin sneezed the wrong way, we would talk about it. And mind you, Sorsby came from Indiana to Cincinnati to Texas Tech. Nowhere near as big as big of a school as LSU, and we're still talking about this day in and day out because of the situation, not the school, not the coach, not anything else. It's the fact that the guy was gambling over the past 3 or 4 years. But yeah, I appreciate y'all taking my call, and it's always good to listen.
Thanks for the call. Small child in the background. Yeah, small child in the background.
Great point.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like the Joey McGuire quote talking about Brendan Sorsby and them needing to get him help for his addiction. Helping him seek treatment for his addiction is a just and noble cause, okay? Because I'm sure he does have a gambling problem. The resolution to that cannot be, he just needs to play football. Yeah. It'll fix him. Football will fix him. Football will cure him. No, you morons.
I love that.
What are you talking about?
That logic is put him back in the environment.
Unbelievably stupid.
Yeah. Put him back
every turn, these people.
Drop him back into the ecosystem where he had the deepest problems. Yes,
with more pressure and more anxiety and angst and anger towards him than there's ever been in his entire life. He's not going to have a fun year.
Yeah.
He's not going to live a pleasant existence for the next calendar year. He's going to be a pariah. at every turn if he's allowed to play football. You're not helping this kid.
No, it's going to get toxic.
You're not helping this kid at all. It's embarrassing.
There are 12 minutes plus stoppage time to go in this game, and it is still scoreless.
Oh.
Spain has not found a way through. A 40-year-old goalkeeper that nobody's ever heard of is standing on his head in this game.
Let's go.
This would be a disaster. This would be the most famous scoreless draw in the history of the World Cup if it happened. Lamine Yamal is in the game, coming off of a hamstring, trying to make the difference, but 12 minutes for a Cabo Verde to hang on and do something shocking here.
We might get the results of this by the end of the show, yes?
Yes.
Potentially. Is there extra time? I'm sure there will be.
There will be stoppage time for certain, but
stoppage time.
I will be off to the studio.
Oh, you have things to do.
I have things to do.
Okay, very good. Last call for phone calls. If you got them, 615-737-1045, the number. If you want to jump in, we'd be happy to have you. Look at that. Somebody just brought us cocktails.
I literally got to go.
I got 20 minutes. I'll drink yours. I don't give a damn.
Drink mine.
Absolutely. All right, we'll wrap this bad boy up coming up next.
Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running upstairs. And
not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
This is a different court, Blair. Same result, Slay. Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball. Boy, Durham, injury law, and that ain't got no rule.
Show fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. 615-737-1045, the number. You want to put a bow on this thing for the day. Lucas had to run off for soccer obligations, I suppose. So we've got no Lucas. We've got no Robert, no sign of life at this point in time as far as I can tell. I don't know. What it looked like a little bit of tahini. Did you get a little tahini from our show margarita? Was not aware that we had a show cocktail out here at the Nashville Golf and Athletic Club. Very well done by somebody, whoever was responsible for that.
It was very on brand. I was surprised they gave you tequila. That was a good shot. The 3HL transfusion, the R&W Bloody Mary.
The R&W Bloody Mary. Okay,
yes.
Very good. What's your drink, Zach?
Oh, he got slided.
Zach Lyons is regaling me with the fact that you were
his drink.
It's just for Blake. Well, I feel like he's earned it. I feel like
his drink is called the Hitman.
I'm so sorry that you did not have an NFL career for which to name a cocktail after. All right, next year for Zach, he'll get a cocktail
to paint a
named
picture
after
for the
himself.
Audience. Zach was just hiked with his leg up in a golf cart, just saddle broad, ready to go.
Outstanding.
How's the show been?
It's been fine. It's been fine. It's always a good day out here at the golf tournament, and I'm ready to be done. I've done enough being out here in public.
Yeah, you've got.
I don't want to talk to any more people.
You have one.
I don't want to see any more people. I'm gonna go home.
One more responsibility as you signed up coming to the event. I think you're going to MC and send off the 1 o'clock crew. You're going to be like, hey, hit them long, hit them straight, and don't let a good truth get in the way of a lie.
I'm sure not doing any of that. I'm getting in my car and I'm going home. I came to the event this year.
You did. It's an improvement, slightly.
That's baby steps. So tomorrow, I'm going to be back out on the practice field for Titans mandatory minicamp. The last 2 days of mandatory minicamp, or the last 2 days of the Titans offseason. Before we break for the summer, Robert and Lucas are going to hold things down. Do you guys have anything planned ahead of time? I may not even go to Titans practice. I may just sip 10 of these show margaritas and have a day on the golf course. Maybe forget to go to Titans practice tomorrow.
I don't blame you. No, we have nothing planned. Nothing at all. We're just hanging out.
There will be a press conference in some form or fashion that's carried, I'm sure, and there will be reaction to that. A lot of hand-wringing about Titans practices the last couple of days. I don't know. We talked about this a little bit on Friday. I just don't know what people want. You know, if I go to practice,
they just want all the news to be good.
I see. So I don't respond to people on Twitter anymore. I used to argue with people on Twitter if I thought that I could, make a compelling argument for whatever they were arguing against. But then I realized at some point that you're not changing anybody's minds on social media, and so why take the hour of your day to argue with a bunch of people on Twitter?
For the love of the game, baby.
For the love of the game, yeah, some people do. Especially now that you can pay for a check mark to get money from engagement. If you're out here tweeting without paying for a blue check mark that earns you some money, you're doing it for the love of the game, which I respect. But the arguments around, like, what if I go out there tomorrow and I put together a practice report. And the practice report, to summarize, is Cam Ward had a bad day. And we talk about it. And people are going to respond to the report as if it's an indictment of Cam Ward and the rest of his career, as opposed to, no, he had a bad day of practice, hadn't had many good days of practice that we've been able to see. And that's the nature of things. I'm so ready to be done with the level of practice overreaction that comes with offseason.
Here's what you should do. Tomorrow, before practice, you put out a tweet, and you say, hey, if I don't say anything about Cam Ward today, just know he had a bad practice. And then if he has a bad practice, you don't say anything about him. It's like, okay, that's what y'all wanted. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to quantify or qualify how bad the practice actually was. I told you guys, you don't want to read anything when things are bad. You don't care about why things are bad or maybe half mid-bad. You don't care. So I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be the approach moving forward. All right, Carl, let's do some polls. Let's get the hell out of here for the day. It's too sweet, but it's not bad.
Oh, you got one in there?
Well, somebody brought me one. Well, Lucas is not here, so Kroll will update the polls. At Buck Rising is where you can vote on the polls on Twitter.
First time doing this. Let me pull it up.
Nope. Okay, very good.
And the polls are brought to you by the most trusted dealership in the South.
Dealership, yes.
Yes, the most trusted dealership in the South.
Yes.
Whether it's a Bronco, a Ford, anything you want, go down there, and those people will take care of you because everybody trusts them from the East Coast to the Mississippi River.
The South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford. All right, what do you got, Kroll? You ready?
Yes, sir. The first poll. Who had a worse weekend, Victor Wembanyama or Texas Tech? We have a dead split 50-50. So
Never happened. Never happened in the history of the show, a 50-50 tie. What's next?
Is it important for Cam Ward to perform well at Titans mandatory minicamp? Yes, comes in. Ooh, we have another tie. Yes, at 45.5%. The other 45.5% says it's still June, and we have
45.5%. It's still, listen, if he plays poorly, it's still June. If he plays well, it's still June. All I ask is that you keep the same energy about Cam Ward practice reports, good, bad, or indifferent. It's just June.
All right, we finally have a poll that's not a tie. Who is the Knicks' greatest player of all time? Jalen Brunson coming in at the top at 41.2%. 35.3% says Patrick Ewing. 17.6% says Clyde Frazier. And 5.9% says Willis Reed.
No, that's recency bias. Jalen Brunson is not the greatest player in the history of the Knicks franchise. That belongs to either Willis Reed or Clyde Frazier. They have 2 championships to Brunson's 1, even though it was over 50 years ago. One more poll.
Does Friday's dominant performance by the U.S. men's national team change your opinion on how far they could advance in the World Cup? 52.9% says yes, while 47.1% says no.
Changed Robert Walsh's whole worldview. He's a big soccer fan now, big football fan.
Big football fan, and it doesn't matter whether it's Turkey or it's Australia. Anybody in this group, they're all going to lay down like dogs at the feet of the U.S. soccer team. That's all that matters. Yes, this weekend, get the flags ready, the banners ready, wave them. Because I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Sing it.
And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me.
All right,
and I'll gladly.
That's going to do it for us today. We appreciate your participation. Blaine Bishop, Zach Lyons, the cocktail's named the Hitman. The show is covered too. You're going to enjoy both things potentially coming up next.